sign-up sheets for different things that make this levy work. For example, I don't really want people out there soliciting and also doing the drops and also doing the signs. So sign up for some of those or one of those or two of those, and then principals will bring that information back on next Thursday, because the goal is to hopefully have the signage so that when we come back from spring break, the community is just flooded with our signs and all of our information about the levy. So it just seems like, you know, it just happened overnight. And so March, end of March, April becomes our really heavy push moments because, of course, the levy vote is actually May 4th. All right? So principals are going to receive packets. In those packets will be sign-up sheets for not just for your parents, but for your staff as well, because it's going to take everybody to do their part. I don't want people to get too overzealous and try to sign up for like 3 and 4 committees, knowing that you may have a challenge meeting those commitments. If you sign up for one and you meet that commitment, I would be happier with you doing it that way than trying to do more than you really should do. It's going to take a lot of people to do this. It should be 400 people on hand to make this process work. Some people are saying, I am comfortable. I am very, very comfortable putting signs in yards as long as people have those addresses. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to call on our partners, SHP. Do you guys remember when we did the phone bank years ago? So we use their facility. We're going to try to use the phone bank, but the phone bank is going to be for 2 different things. Number one, we're going to try to use the phone bank to know who our partners are. And number 2, just to do a follow-up to see if people are interested in supporting the levy. And it's issue 8. So when you're out there, that's the one thing that you want to mention. We have a conflict. It's not a big conflict, but it's a conflict that whenever you open buildings and then you come for an operation levy, people want to know, why didn't you use the money for the operation levy instead of putting all the money into the buildings? Your tag, your information that you're going to disseminate to people is, it is against the law to use the money for operations that's designated for buildings. We cannot do it. We're not allowed. If we have money left over from a bond, we still can't use that for operational, okay? So the operational is totally separate, and that's kind of how it works. So your co-chair, there are 2 co-chairs of this committee, and it is Dr. Cupoletti, board member, and Gino McGowan's. And so I'm going to give Gino the mic so he can give you guys a few words about some of the expectations and how he can foresee how we would do in this particular levy. Ready?
Thank you, Mr. Smith. As he said, I'm Gino McGowan, representing the board, and just want to thank everybody for coming out. We appreciate it. I'm looking forward to maybe hearing some maybe different things we can do. I know we were challenged before when we didn't get it passed, so whatever we could do differently, this time we're looking forward to it. And like I said, we appreciate everybody coming out, supporting this. So anything you guys need from the board, please feel free to reach out to us and let us know. Like you said, myself and Dr. Cupoletti are the co-chairs of this particular committee.
Okay. I don't know if, Ms. Jordan, do you think we've got, I think what we wanted to do is to let you see some of the signage that you have. Like the mask that you have on now, this is part of a levy campaign. We're using it as a dual service. It's part of our safety, but it's a levy campaign at the same time. Love our schools, our community, and our children, and so it's going to take all of those efforts to make this thing work the way that we want it to work. Ms. Jordan, is she ready to show us some pictures of what the ground signs may look like? Okay, all right. Where's the association? Jerry, I can bring the mic to you.
I just want to say that it definitely takes all of us working together, but I'm positive we're going to pass this levy.
Okay. Mr. Pennycuff said something at the last meeting, and his words just keep ringing inside my head. What he said is, if there are people who are engaging you in conversations about opposition of the levy, that's not a bad thing, because your spirit and your attitude can convince them that it's better to, you could have some opposition, but when you give them the facts, those are the pieces that change the story. In the State of the Schools ribbon cutting ceremony, one of the things that I mentioned to the public, and different people came up to me afterwards and said, Superintendent, I was not aware that the district hadn't passed a levy since 2009. And I had to correct them. It wasn't necessarily that we didn't pass a levy since 2009. We really didn't have one on the books and asked for new money since 2009. So this has been our first effort. There's a difference in didn't pass the levy since 2009 and asking for new money, okay? 2009, that's a long time. And I don't know how many districts would be able to survive it and get through the rough part. But the part that makes it so challenging is the Inquirer and Channel 19 and all the news outlets talk about the district opening a $51 million building. That makes it challenging. And I know that you guys have different relatives in your life, friends and family, but anybody here have that relative, they ask you for money, but they have money? Anybody know anybody like that? And then they have this thing called situational amnesia. When it's time to pay back, they don't remember from years and years and years. Or anybody have that neighbor, he borrowed some tools, but now his name is on them and he thinks they're his? Okay, so we just have to figure that part out and do the parts that we need to do and explain to our community that it would have taken so much money to fix the buildings up that going new was going to be our new thing. All right. The other part, in case you get slightly ambushed out there, I'm sure everybody's heard the story that the walkway, the distributive dining walkway in the new high school looks like a prison, all right? And they call it cell block something, and I've seen those in movies. I've never been in one, but so I'm sure somebody's giving some information out there. One of the things that they have to realize is, number one, that is one portion of the school, but number two, it is not a completed portion. There are other amenities that are supposed to go into that area to change it so it doesn't look the way people think it does. So if people ask you questions about it, just let them know the project is not finished. We've been meeting with the architects. There are some things that were supposed to come later. They are coming later. But what we wanted to do is open it up for a showcase on the 8th, the same day that our kids came back, to just kind of make it a good transition. Remember, students are not actually going to be in that building until March 30th, okay? I know Dr. Arnold, Mr. Martin, Ms. Strauser, and the rest of the team, they're working diligently to make all of that happen, and it's going to be a very, very exciting experience. Mr. Denny will be giving a building update on Monday the 15th at the board meeting. So I hope some of you tune in and you can make it and make that thing happen. Other updates that are not levy related but are school related, and this is some of the good news that you can pass on. Our students struggled so much last year by being properly recognized with graduations and proms, and it was overwhelming. They had a virtual prom that Mr. Martin and his team and Mrs. Denny put on, and it was great. How many of you saw the virtual graduation? I'm sorry, I said virtual prom. Virtual graduation, I'm thinking too far. All right. I think some of you probably had a virtual prom before. I've never been to one. But having the virtual graduation, it was done classy, it was nice, it was clean. People were recognized for all their contributions to the district and some of their attributes that they've had along the way. We received the go-ahead from the board to, the students will have a prom. They will have a prom inside their own brand new facility. And it is big enough, it it is big enough and bright enough and exciting enough. And one of the things that we put in there is when they have the prom, we wanted to make sure there was at least 15 to 20 days in case COVID is still here, so don't be mistaken. In case there's a COVID outbreak or something, there's 15 to 20 days in between prom and graduation. So the next good part is there will be a graduation, a traditional graduation. It will be held at the Cintas Center. The maximum amount of tickets will be 8 per family, and the Cintas has agreed to, for the parents and family members who are still apprehensive about coming out and participating live, they have already made a commitment to the district that they will actually run it as a simulcast where it will be in real time. So you can watch it on TV. So we've taken care of all the main things that will kind of make our kids feel a little disenfranchised. We were supposed to announce this at the board meeting, but I got too excited, so I kind of told you now. All right? Okay, all right. So here's some of our yard signs, and there are some beautiful kids on there that make you excited about the levee. Okay, all right. Another picture. Depends on how quickly she can run back there. Okay. One of the things that we wanted to do to kind of have bookends on either end, it was talking about the main thing in this slide is about robust academic programs. That is the main thing. That is why it's in the middle. The two anchors are keeping incredible fine arts and then keep competitive athletics. So those will be yard signs that will show the community these are some of the things that we'd like to keep to be part of who we are and what we do. People are going to try to challenge you, and what they're going to ask you is, if it doesn't pass, what are you going to cut? And your answer is, it's going to pass, so we don't talk about the cut. Because if you get yourself in a situation, I guarantee you they will send me your quote, and they will say, he said that you're going to cut this, 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 this. And then it gets people all frustrated because people are wondering, are you cutting fine arts? Are you cutting athletics? Are you cutting this? And everybody kind of has their own sacred ground. But remember, this is a company. We work for one company, and the goal is to keep us safe, make sure we provide incredible academic opportunities, and keep everybody gainfully employed. All right. Is there more? Are there more, Ms. Jordan? Okay, all right. So you'll see these yard signs all over the place,